Hello and welcome to Ask the Ed number 5 with a little bit of Ed 2 in my ear, a little bit of Ed 3 by my side, a little bit of... Oh, sorry, for some reason Mambo number 5 was in my head then. Just be glad you don't have to listen to me on the karaoke. It could be worse. While Mambo number 5 came to my mind, you mention number 5 to Ed 7 and he gives you a huge lecture about Red 5, Luke Skywalker, Battle of Yavin, Death Stars and sticking one in the exhaust port. His sexual proclivities are just bizarre if you ask me. And if you ask Ed003 about number 5, he will immediately jump to a reminiscence of Liverpool's 5th Champions League win in Istanbul, which coincided with him losing his virginity at the age of 40 after being inspired by the movie. The movie Soggy Penis Syndrome, I mean. Now he knows he's not alone in his suffering. Ed 4, on the other hand, who is aiming for a starring role in 50-Year-Old Virgin, waxes lyrical on the role of a number 5 in football and immediately reaches for his iPad to illustrate the movement of tactical formations best suited to use a 5. And just don't ask Ed 33 about the number 5. He has a very complicated theory about how the number 5 is used by the Illuminati to control people's minds, which is why he hops every 5th step and will only wear teal on the 5th day of the week. All I wanted was some ideas for a subtitle of the pod rather than just calling them 3, 4, 5, etc. Anyway, sorry, getting a bit distracted there, so on with the show. On to the first question, and Walk the Walk from the Aston Villa site asks, Ed1, there is a lot of money spent in football nowadays, to be fair, a stupid amount. Do you think the quality is better now than it was in, for example, say the 80s or 90s? Honestly, it depends on what way you judge it for me. The overall quality of the product has improved, the coverage, the stadium, the pitches, etc. But the football itself, other than a couple of teams, is just faster and more frenetic with less skill. Every team used to have tricky wingers that would dribble past players for fun. How many of those still exist? I mean, people get excited about Zaha and he can't do half of what the player... You know, he's fast rather than skillful. He's got a little bit of skill, but he's not in the league like Peter Beagrie and Pat Nevin, who used to have so much skill. They used to dribble past players and then dribble back past them again and then past them again, just for the hell of it. He used to have them in every tier of the game at one point. Now there's none of them. There's just a couple of players that can go very quick, and yeah, it's not as skillful as it was for me. Southern Monkey from the Man United site is back and asks, who would be in your all-time All-Stars World 11 team? And if you care to elaborate why, all the better. By the way, Robbie Fowler is benched, which I think's rather cruel of you to rule out Robbie Fowler. I mean, an All-Star 11 without God in it? Right, well, I'm going to go all Mike Bassett and use a 4-4-2. It's a good flexible formation and allows me to put 2 forwards in. And let's face it, forwards are usually the most exciting players, so you want more of them in an all-star team. So, goalkeeper first, and this is a difficult one. Anyone who's ever seen Levi Yashin play will tell you he's the greatest ever, but I've not yet had the pleasure of more than a clip or two, so I can't pick him. In fact, that is a big problem with doing this, as I mostly have to look at more recent players, like than Yashin and the likes of the magical Magyars, as until like the 70s, there isn't that much footage around. Sorry, a bit distracted then. Back to the keeper. And I have to say, modern keepers have revolutionised the game with their ability to kick the ball. And so the modern keeper is superior to the older style keepers under the modern rules of no back passes. And the best I've seen of those is Alisson. However, he's only had a couple of seasons of excellence. So I'm going to go with a man who is the best I've seen play in the flesh over his entire career, Neville Southall. He was absolutely incredible. He also has one advantage over modern keepers in that he organises his defence so much better than the modern day keeper, who relies on the setup given to him by the manager. So on to right back, and Rob Jones is the best right back I have ever seen. Just a shame about his injuries, but as this is an all-star team, I'm not going to pick him. Instead, I'm going to go for Cafu. He was an incredible athlete and a fantastic footballer, true all-star of the game. Jones was the better defender, but an all-star team should be about entertainment as well as quality. Left back is probably the easiest of all choices. The only decision with Maldini is which position to pick him in. For me, he's best at left back, as it gives the option to change to a back three if needed. Also, there was something special about watching him glide down the flanks like something out of a Hollywood movie. He reminds me of the baddie in Terminator 2 because he flows across the ground rather than merely runs like us mere mortals. There are so many centre-backs to pick from, but though Hansen is my favourite, I'm going to stick with the all-star philosophy and go with someone who had that similar Rolls-Royce style of defending to Hansen in Aldair and pair him with Baresi. Baresi should complement Aldair really well, and he was an excellent defender in his day. I used to hope he'd be playing when I switched on Football Italia. He had such good reading in the game, wasn't afraid to get stuck in, and a good tackle is always worth watching. Whereas Aldair is just a Rolls Royce. He was a fantastic player and made a huge difference when he played for Brazil. In central midfield, I'm picking Souness and Iniesta as a beauty and the beast partnership. Souness would put the fear of God into opponents, but he was also a world-class central midfielder who could pass, shoot and tackle with the best of them. Iniesta is just a wonderful footballer to watch and one of the best ever. For me, he was Barca's key player rather than Messi. On the left wing, John Barnes is the only choice I could make. He was a sheer joy to watch and had a left peg that very few could compare with. He was also strong enough to shrug off the most robust challenge, as well as the skill to slalom through the tightest defence. On the right wing, I'm going to go for Garrincha. It was him or best, and Garrincha takes it purely for the entertainment. There are very few players that are more enjoyable to watch than the little bird. Up front, I'm going to go with Maradona. He really needs no explanation. And the original Ronaldo. It may be controversial to leave out Pele, but Ronaldo was the best centre-forward I have ever seen. Plus, the after-match party would be even more entertaining than the game with him, Maradona and Garrincha. They were almost as legendary for their off-field activities. So the monkey is back with another question. I have read a lot of information kindly given by Ed001 about the Pan-European League over the years. It does seem that inevitably this will eventually come to pass. What are your thoughts on this? Well, for me it would be a disaster and go a long way towards killing my interest in the sport. Games against the likes of Barca, Milan and Madrid are exciting because they are rare and represent the pinnacle of the game. You have to achieve something to get to them in the first place. But now it's bad enough that you can come forth and qualify for Europe. That has lessened it for me more than enough. It's kind of ruined it as it is. But one of the things that made me love footy so much is the banter with other kids when I was growing up. Especially when our teams were to play each other. If your team is in a Euro Super League, a lot of that will be gone, because how many kids do you grow up with next to you that support Milan or Madrid? You don't. They support your local rivals. Say, if you're in Liverpool, they're either red or blue, Liverpool or Everton. But, so it doesn't, you're not going to be playing Everton if Liverpool are in the Super League and Everton aren't. So there'll be none of that banter left. I just hope it does not come in my lifetime. I really don't want to see it. I think Southern Monkey might well be stalking me, as he has asked a third question in a row. How many minutes from the start of the season do you see Mike Smalling playing before VAR shows him a red card? Mike Smalling will never get a red card. The man is a footballing god that even Van Gaal bowed down before. It's been said that Van Gaal's dive on the sidelines was not really a dive. He just fainted after Mike winked at him. Unfortunately, his lesser twin brother Chris often sneaks on the pitch in his place, and he'll be lucky to make it through at half without a red. This is also from the Manchester United site, but this time a Liverpool question from Oakbach, who asks, Ed, if you could sign any one current player for Liverpool, who would it be? Well, I really wanted us to sign that Alisson Becker fella, but I hear Scotland's captain's a quality left back, Andy Robertson what about that lad I saw playing at right back for England? Double-barrelled surname, but couldn't half-whip in a great ball. There's a big lad at the back for Holland, Van Dijk. I watched the AFCON the other day, and there was this player called Sadio Mane playing for God's sake. Well, Mo Salah was there. He was Roberto Fabinho. No. To be honest, it is really difficult to come up with someone who can fit in the current system better than the players already in the team. There are just two that come to mind, although I might find others if I search long enough, in Saul Niguez and Jose Maria Jimenez, both of Atletico Madrid. I'm going to say Jimenez because not only can he provide extra cover at right back, but he's a brilliant centre-half who would give the option to go 3 at the back as well as slot straight in alongside Van Dijk. The Sandon from the Liverpool site asks, Ed, you have a half Scouse accent and half Welsh accent. Cheeky bugger. There's no Welsh in my accent. Where have you lived in the UK before Dubai? Okay, quick list, and note it doesn't include anywhere in Wales. Bootle, Shrewsbury, although I suppose that could be counted as Wales, really, because it used to be Welsh. Tewkesbury in Gloucestershire, Cheltenham, Fairford, Doncaster, Windsor. Does 6 months in Spain count? If so, you can add Marina Leda to the list. Obviously, none of the others compared to the natural beauty and scenery of Bootle, but where can? I do have one question for all of you about these, though. Why is every woman in Doncaster orange? It was like a sea of Oompa Loompas wandering around the town centre on a Saturday. Is there a leaking nuclear reactor in the area or something? Another one from the Liverpool site, in Istanbul, ask a rather confusing question. How did you feel during the Hodgson era? Not specifically the 6 months he was in charge, but the years before and immediately after. Actually thought it might be the end of us as a mid-table side. What was your view? Well, I'm not sure you can consider 6 months an era, and before and after isn't really the Hodgson era, but okay. Before his arrival, we just seemed to be on a downward slope, just literally, in the months before it. With his arrival just heralded a new era of relegation battles and possible financial ruin. Even his interviews were depressingly pessimistic. The man couldn't have been more negative if he had tried, and clearly did not understand the club or the fans at all. At the time, though, off-field issues were the only thing that mattered, as it really seemed like it might well be the end of days as far as Liverpool were concerned. The appointment of Hodgson almost seemed like a precursor to the end of days, really. Now, we seem to have moved on to a run of Liverpool posters, as Epic Potato wants to know, can Harry Wilson learn to be a Klopp-type player, or is it a case of he is what he is? The problem is, with people in general, it usually takes something major to shock them into a change, whether that change be good or bad, or, something life-changing usually has to happen. I mean, he might well become a Klopp-type player, but it's probably going to take something major to jolt him out of his mental comfort zone. Something such as sliding down the league after being let go by Liverpool and, thinking his career might be ending, and he has to act to change that. If he stays, he's more likely to end up not feeling the urge to change, as there's no need, because obviously he's being rewarded for what he's doing. So, I can't see him staying at Liverpool and becoming a Klopp-type player. Right, on to the final question. Well, actually it's a series of questions, but it also comes from the Liverpool site, and it's from Red Dawn, who obviously likes his hallucinogenics, as he asks, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Did you know that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't walk up a ladder with a bell in both hands? And a football-related one to finish, if you had to pick one player playing today to pick up and slot into this current Liverpool team, who would it be and why? And then same question, but about retired players. Well, that first one, Swan can give you a proper doing if you aren't careful, so I can only imagine what a horse-sized duck would do. I defo don't want to have to face one of them. Actually, I wouldn't want to face 100 duck-sized horses, really, either. They're thinking about it. Will the duck be turned into crispy duck if I win? I love crispy duck. Slap a bit of sauce on a pancake, throw a little bit of cucumber and spring onion in there, and I'm away. If winning the fight gives me the animals to eat, then I will take on the duck all day, every day. Definitely. As for the second one, having spent the last hour the maintenance lads in the building trying, I can unequivocally tell you that it is possible to walk up a ladder with a bell in both hands, but most of the times you will end up sprawled at the bottom crying for your mother if the maintenance lads are anything to go by. Kids these days are so soft. A couple of broken bones and they cry off having another go. If I'd cried off after having another go because of a broken leg, my ma would have given me a hiding so I had something to cry about. I did just answer about the current player on this pod, so I'll go straight to picking a retired player. Thinking about it, I've just remembered Kante. I never remembered him the first time round, so I'm going to change my answer to the previous one. I'm going to give a different answer this time and say Kante, because that boy is immense. He'd be the player I'd want in the Liverpool side. But anyway, back to the retired player, and I would love to see the Anfield Iron play at his peak for this Liverpool side. Tommy Smith was more than just a brick wall. He was not just a big lump who kicked people off the pitch. Shanks was right, he was quarried, not born, but man could he play. And he was such a nice guy as well, a proper gent. Intelligent player as well, who could play a number of positions equally well. One of the all-time greats who gave his heart and soul for the club. So, there we have it. Another Ask the Ed for you for today. Take care and speak to you soon. And don't forget to keep those questions coming in.